Hey guys, it's Aaron Rogers. This video is going to go over simplifying exponents. Here's what you're going to need during this video. You're going to need to take notes, or you can take screenshots. You're also going to need a calculator to work out some problems, and make sure you're paying good attention to everything I go over. When you're finished, you're going to fill in a form. Make sure you pay good attention to Miss Oyen during this video.
So during this video, we're going to be talking about exponents quite a bit. So our first question is this: is 3 to the 5th the same as 3 times 5? Well, we should know this from previous math classes. I know 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 to the 5th actually means 3 times itself 5 times. So it means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, that's going to be a big number. 3 times 3 is 9. This 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81, and then another 81 times 3 is 243. So they are not the same. Okay, so multiplying just 3 times 5 is not the same as 3 to the 5th. Just as a quick refresher, when you're multiplying, does the order matter? If I was multiplying 4 times 3 times 2, and I did 4 times 3, which is 12, then times 2, which is 24, that's what I get. But what if I would have done 4, let's do the 3 and the 2 first. That'd give me 6 times 4, I still get 24. So just as a quick reminder, multiplying, the order does not matter. So today we are going to be factoring. Okay, now factoring, you guys know what factors are already. Like if I asked you what the factors of 12 are, basically that means like what numbers fit into 12. Like 4 and 3, those multiply, those make 12. Those are factors. 2 and 6, 1 and 12. All right, so those are all factors of 12. So we are going to be working on factoring today, and I'll show you what that means in a sec. All right, so first problem I have is 5 squared times 5 to the 5th. I want to find a simpler way to write that. So the first thing I'm going to do is factor this out. I'm going to write this a little bit different way. So I know that 5 squared is really the same as 5 times 5. And 5 to the 5th, that's the same as 5 times 5 times 5, 5 times, right? Okay, and then it says times. Now, I could work this out. I could do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times all those 5s. Another way to write that is 5. How many 5s am I multiplying now? Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So another way to write that is 5 to the 7th. That's a simplified way to write that. So instead of writing it like this up here, I can simplify it to 5 to the 7th. Okay, let's try another one. So I have 2 squared times 2 to the 4th. So I'm going to factor this out. 2 squared, that's the same as writing it as 2 times 2. And then it says times, so I'm still timesing. And then 2 to the 4th. Well, that's the same as writing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times. Okay, so now it's all timesing, so basically I'm just multiplying all these together. So a better way to write that is 2 to the, let's see what power it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 to the 6th power. That's a simplified way to write this. So 2 squared times 2 to the 4th is actually 2 to the 6th. All right, so we have another one here. So I have 3 to the 7th times 3 squared. So if I do this first one, 3 to the 7th, means I'm going to do 7 3s. Okay, times 3 squared, that means I'm going to do 2 more 3s. Okay, now if I put that all together, that's like I'm doing 3 to the what power? Well, I have 7 here, 2 more here. It's the same as 3 to the 9th. Okay, now you guys might notice that a quicker way to do this is to, if you have 7 3s and 2 more, it's a total of 3 to the 9th. And then I could work that out if I wanted to. All right, now this one looks a little bit different. So I have x to the 3rd times x to the 5th. So let's kind of factor that out. X to the 3rd, that's the same as taking x times x, that would be x squared, times another x. Okay, so this would give me x cubed, that's the same as x times x times x. Okay, x to the 5th, if I do that one, so it says times, is x times x times x times x times x, 5 of those. Okay, so now if I multiply these all together, well, it's x times x. Oh, it's a bunch of x's. You don't just add them. It's to the what power. So it's like taking that number, the x, to the what power? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's x to the 8th. So a better way to write this x to the 3rd times x to the 5th is as x to the 8th. All right, let's try this one. Now I have a couple variables. So I'm going to start with x to the 3rd. I'm going to write that out the long way. So x to the 3rd is the same as x times x times x. All right, and then right next to it, that really is times because it's right next to it. So times y squared, that's the same as y times y. That would give me y squared. Okay, then it says times, so I'll just keep my times. And then we just have a normal x, so I'll just write x. And then times y squared, well, I'm going to factor that as y times y, because that does equal y squared. Okay, now remember, the order that you multiply doesn't matter, so I'm just going to multiply all my x's together first. So x times x times x times x. Now remember, you're not adding them. If you were adding them, it'd be 4x, but I'm timesing them. So x times x, that's x squared, another x, x to the 3rd, x to the 4th it would become. So x to the 4th times, let's look at our y's. This would be y squared, another y squared would be y to the 4th. I'm still timesing them, I just don't need to put that dot there, because if it's right next to each other, it means the same thing. So I simplified this expression right here to this. That's an easier way to write that. All right, why don't you guys try this one? Push pause, see if you can simplify this one. All right, if I work this one out, I'll just kind of factor it. 7 squared, that's the same as 7 times 7. Okay, times x to the 3rd. Okay, that's x times x times x. Okay, times, I have another 7 here. And then times x squared, that's the same as x times x. Okay, now if I simplify this, I'll just multiply all my x's first. Remember, it's all timesing, so you can multiply in any order. So x times x times x times x, that's the same as x to the 5th, because there's 5 of them, times, I have 7 times 7 times 7. Well, you could work that out, otherwise you can write it as times 7 to the 3rd power. Okay, so these two things are equal. Now, the reason we simplify it is, which one is it looks like it's faster to work out, this top one up here or this bottom one? Well, this one looks like it has less steps. Whatever x is, I would plug it in there, take it to the 5th power, and then times it by 7 to the 3rd. This one, I would have to do 7 squared, I'd have to do that, I'd have to do that, and that, I'd have to work all of that out, and it would take a lot longer. So this is simplified. It's a lot shorter to do. All right, we have one more. Let's try this one. Okay, so I'm going to kind of factor it out. So the 2 I'll just keep times x to the 4th is x times x times x times x. The 3 I'll just keep. And then it just says times x. And y squared would be y times y. Okay, now I'm just going to multiply my things together. I can start with my normal numbers. Remember, it doesn't matter the order, so I can actually do 2 times 3. Well, that's 6. Okay, done with that. Now I'm going to do my x's. So x times x, that's x squared, another x, x to the 3rd, x to the 4th, x to the 5th. Okay, done with my x's. And now my y's, y times y is the same as y squared. So again, it's like there's a dot there for timesing, but you don't really have to write that. So my simplified answer is 6x to the 5th, y squared. Now if I told you what x was, you could plug it in right here and work that out. And if I told you what y was, you could plug that in, work it out, and you would get the answer.
Don't forget to watch the game on Saturday. Go Bucky!
All right, so I'd like you to go ahead and try these 3 problems here. Make sure you write your answers in your notes. Okay, I'll be checking for these 3 problems to see what you get. And then tomorrow we're going to go over some of this. Please make sure you also fill out the form. You can find that in Schoology. You can also find it on my website. All right, see you tomorrow.